Do you ever, like me, feel insecure? Do you ever feel inadequate? Do you ever look at people who have achieved these lofty, magnificent feats and doubt if you have that in you? The Tour de France in 2012 had 198 racers. Of course, just one winner. The Ironman Championship last year in 2012 had 2,039 racers. And of course, just one winner. These are special people. But I also today would like to introduce you to someone very special. I'd like to introduce you to Patty. I'd like to introduce you to Michael. I'd like to introduce you to yourself. What if, at the very beginning of life, you were tested and found triumphant? What if our fear of inadequacy as a person has already been proven false? At the very beginning of human life, and this is about to be a delicate topic, but I think we could handle it. At the very beginning of human life, between 100 and 200 million sperm and upwards of 400 million begin a fierce competition to be born. 100 to 200 million racers. One single winner. You were born a winner. You were born winning at the highest level. And that's not just positive thinking. That can be said with scientific certainty. I hope you realize who you are. You are the elites sitting here today. Now, lest you be overly inspired by me, you were born with greatness, but that doesn't automatically mean you will be great. Mort Mandel, a little-known billionaire, categorizes people into three general groups: A's, B's, and C's. With A's being the most excellent, the most effective people, and C's, of course, being the least. Mort says that there's no surer way to build a successful organization than to hire and retain A's. The ever-present problem, though, is that there's a shortage of A's. This is because although every one of us is born with the potential to become an A, only the minority decide to do the things necessary to be an A. What are those things? There are many, but here are three. Firstly, focus on your design. You cannot do everything that you want to do. Contrary to popular self-improvement rhetoric that says you can do anything that you believe you can do or you set your mind to do, it's my view that you simply cannot do everything that you want to do. Possibly the most painfully clear example I can give you of this is a personal one. When I was a young teenager, I wanted to become a professional basketball player. I want you to just carefully study me for a few minutes. Obviously, my family lied to me when I was a child. You cannot do everything that you want to do, but you can do anything that you are designed to do. We're all wired differently. We all have different designs. And when you begin to focus on that arena, good things happen. Several hundred years ago, there was a young man who was put in charge of a family farm operation that was very successful. It turned out that this young man was such a terrible and lousy farmer, and possibly a businessman, that his family had to snatch him out of that position and send him back off to school. It turned out as well that that was his makeup, his design. He was wired to be a scholar. In fact, he was a brilliant mathematician. He began to operate in the arena of his design, and good things began to happen. That young man's name was Isaac Newton. And there are countless other examples of people, some notable, that once they began to recognize and focus on their area of design, their greatness was released. You cannot do everything that you want to do, but you can do anything that you are designed to do. Secondly, develop a vision inside the areas that you can be great in. Vision is critically important because it enables you to have the fuel to be disciplined. Mediocrity is generally a drifter, aimless. And when somebody lacks a destination, an end in mind that's exciting to them, that pulls them forward, oftentimes they wind up in a position where they're showing up every day to a job that they hate. And it's in that context that mediocrity is easy, is likely. Have an end in mind, have a destination in mind that's exciting, in which you can be excellent. And thirdly, surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better. If your inner circle are C's, A's, B's, and C's, cut them loose. That sounds harsh, but there is no surer way to become a C than to surround yourself with C's. Incidentally, you won't be doing your C friends any benefit by being a C yourself. Insist on being a person that is surrounded by people who will challenge you to be better, who will pull you forward into your future. Now, a brief word on insecurity, because despite doing all the right things, insecurity remains the chief thief that suppresses the release of greatness. When I'm barraged by insecurity, in my finer moments, I use an imagination to my benefit. And in sharing this with you today, perhaps you'll be able to use this to yours. I imagine a courtroom setting, and on one side, I'm the defendant. Across from me is the plaintiff. Insecurity. Putting on a fine show in eloquence. Greg, you're not enough. You see this, people see this. You're not smart enough. You'll try and you'll fail. Deep down, you know you're inadequate. Then I imagine a judge who's presiding over this case. Enough! We've heard the accusations. Now let's hear the evidence. After a long silence, it's realized that there is no plausible evidence, only irrational accusations. And I urge you, when you're being attacked by insecurity, demand of it evidence, because oftentimes the evidence is in the contrary, and the accusations are baseless. In conclusion, you are adequate. To be great requires the raw material of greatness. A high hurdle indeed. But you already possess that. Your existence is indisputable evidence of your greatness. Now it's just choosing to use that. Perhaps the most rewarding thing, though, about being great is not the benefits that accrue to you. It's that by being great, you automatically release those who are watching you to be great themselves. You know what I mean. When you're around somebody who is bold and confident, who is humble, who's truly excellent, it inspires you to be better, to be more. Let's make that less rare. I'd like to introduce you as somebody extraordinarily special. I hope you know who you are.